What kind of conversations are we having? Are we having solid conversations that are moving the communication forward? My guest today is an expert in questions, asking the right questions and having really good conversations. With more than 32 years leading high-performing sales organizations, one thing has become clear. The words we choose shape the results we create. As an executive business coach and Exactly What to Say certified guide, Chris Ruszkiewicz works with real estate professionals, sales leaders, and business owners to master conversations that move people on to confident decisions. Through our conversation, talking about questions and conversations in business, we learn that they work the same in our personal conversations as well. Conversations with our kids, our family, friends, and even our aging loved ones. Could it be possible that one small shift in how something is said could actually change everything? Well, let's find out. You want to stay tuned to this episode with my friend Chris on Relax, I Got This, Embracing Life After 60. In today's world, older adults face major transitions like downsizing, relocating, or modifying their homes to age in place, all while embracing life after these changes. As a senior home advisor and seasoned realtor, Robin McCoy guides these decisions with care and thoughtful planning, helping create a vibrant future. Welcome to Relax, I Got This, Embracing Life After 60 with me, your host, Robin McCoy. Chris, thank you so much for coming back on the show. You were on the show a while back, kind of in a different role. So thanks for coming back and talking to me.
My pleasure.
For those that don't know, I have known Chris Ruszkiewicz for a few years now. As a real estate agent, we were in some of the same mastermind groups and that sort of thing. And she was on kind of a previous iteration of this podcast when we were just talking to agents, real estate agents across the country. And she is up in Milwaukee, but I think she's pretty remote now. So she is, and that's what we're going to talk about today is, now, I know she's not embarrassed to say this. She just turned 69 years old, and she is just getting started.
I just turned 69 years old on April 12th. So literally just turned 69.
Yep.
And I appreciate that I can be here and talk about what 69 means, because it doesn't mean you have to retire.
No. And that's, I've had this theme going on the show for a while, that just because we are in this Chapter 3 or Act 3 or whatever, we're calling this out there in the jargon now, doesn't mean, you got 30 to 40 years left of your life.
Well, exactly. And, when I think about 32 years in one industry, and I think about all the experiences I've had and the markets that I've lived through, and all of the things that I can share to help others. Well, what am I going to do? Just box it up and put it in the garage on a shelf and just be done and sit in a chair? No,
because that's clutter, and we don't have clutter in our houses anymore.
No, we don't. No clutter. And the purpose doesn't go away. The purpose for me, even getting into real estate, was always to help people find home, to move for whatever their because reason was that they were moving, and to make sure that they were protected and taken care of. So service has always been a part of it, but I just didn't want to do that part of it anymore.
Right. Because 32 years is a long time.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit. Let's explain to everybody what you are doing now. So,
okay.
So she was a real estate agent and broker for 32 years in the Milwaukee area, serving many, many, many clients and all the things. And so now you've shifted that into what?
So what I've shifted it into, I'm still one of the broker owners. So I'm still involved in leadership as a broker owner. We have 5 locations in the Milwaukee area. But about 4 years ago, I've always been a teacher. I've always been that person. I'm mentoring new agents when they come in. And when things started to shift, I started to go, I'm kind of getting tired of this. I love my people and I love what I'm doing, but I don't want to do it forever. And I started coaching, and that coaching piece was just very part-time. And so I went back to training and got some certifications in life coaching and leadership coaching and executive coaching and neurolinguistic programming, because for me, the language and conversations and building relationships has always been the basis for my successful real estate business. Well, fast forward a couple of years and conversations became more important in our industry and other industries, and got connected to Phil Jones. Phil M. Jones wrote exactly what to say, and he's very, very connected in the real estate world. And I found out that he has this program called Certified Guides, and he asked me if I wanted to be one. I'm like, what does that mean to me? Well, it means that I now have someone who is a 26 plus year expert in communication and building relationships that is now my mentor, that helps me with my coaching and consulting business. Because I can coach and consult anywhere because of all of the lovely technology that we have now, I found a team that I merged my business with. So I still talk to my people, my real estate people, but there is a team of agents that does all of the appointments and takes care of the buyers and sellers. I do some training for that team, but I don't have to physically be there anymore. And we have a lake house in northern Wisconsin, and I now get to live here full time and look at this beautiful lake every morning when I get up, walk into my office, which is the sunroom, so I have all the windows that I can look at everything, and I can help others build better businesses, have better conversations, build better relationships. And I am doing some traveling with coaching and consulting, leadership, and sales teams. And it's worked out beautifully because I'm still connected to the industry, which I love the industry. But now I get to help others build better businesses that support their lives, because that's what I worked hard to do, to have a great business that didn't overwhelm my life. And that was really, really hard. And we know that. I mean, you know that too, how hard that is to do that.
It is.
And so I really work now to help others have those conversations, do more business, but not let it take over. And I'm having a blast. I'm telling you what, I got more energy now than I've had in a long time because I'm having fun.
Having fun. Imagine.
When people say, oh, that makes most sense. And they come back after saying, oh, that makes so much sense. And I just did a class last week. 3 of the agents the next day texted me and said, I did what you said, and I had this conversation with this client that wasn't responding to me, and guess what? We scheduled an appointment. I'm like, so that's it. When I can do that, when I get a text message that says I used we talked language, and I sent this text to 10 people that I met at open houses in the last month, and I scheduled 3 appointments.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, but I'm like, yes.
Yes.
That's why I'm doing this. I love it. I love working with leadership and changing how they communicate and understand how they need to have, like in real estate world, I've been a managing broker.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be able to say the right things if you're a broker, your agents are your clients. Those are your A+ clients. They want to be heard. They want to feel seen. But a lot of times, especially like with real estate teams, the leadership was put there because they were successful in sales.
Right.
And they haven't learned leadership language.
Right.
So those are the things that, it's because I've been there, done that, and I did it wrong a lot. Okay. Totally admit, I did it wrong a lot. But I figured out how to do it right. And then I have this wonderful mentor in Phil, and all of the wisdom that he has in how to have great conversations with people. And it is not scripting. It is not, you cannot force someone to do something they don't want to do.
No.
That's not it. It's asking questions to understand what's important to them. What do they know? What do they not know that they should know, and helping them make the best decision for them.
It is so interesting. You are just like on fire when you talk about this, right? You are just like, I can feel it coming all the way from the far north Wisconsin to all the way down here in Texas.
Down into Texas.
All the way, like a straight line right down. I mean, you are in whatever your second, third career here. And, and I think that's also one thing that people will say. It's like, well, I'm retired. What am I going to do now? And they've got a lifetime of skills and experience that, like you said, isn't going to go on a shelf.
Right.
And it can be shared. And just because you aren't in, you're not in the corporate office building anymore, or you're not the attorney in charge or the managing broker or the whatever that was for so long, does not mean that your value is any less.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, I'm sure you've got friends, because I've seen, like I said, I'm 62. You just turned 69. So you're on the left side of 65, and I'm on the right side of 65. And there's that line in the sand of retirement. And then what am I going to do after that? And you just pivoted and said, I'm going to keep doing what I do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, because I have so many people that, well, I thought you were going to retire. Why aren't you retired? I'm not retiring. I'm refiring. I'm just going in a different direction. Okay? I'm not going to take all the things that I learned, all the things that I internalized, all the things that I figured out how to do better, to be better, to have a better business and a better life, and just leave it. And the purpose doesn't retire. My purpose isn't going to retire. My purpose has been to serve people, specifically in the real estate world, but just instead of buyers and sellers, now it's real estate agents and leadership. Yeah. And I was down in Texas. I missed you, unfortunately.
Yes.
We couldn't make it work, but I was teaching. I did a 3.5-hour workshop for a home warranty company, because the conversations are very similar. They're still working with agents and home buyers and home sellers. And so we went through a lot of great conversations, and they too, in training, gave them some exercises to do, and I gave them some things to do right before each break. Now we know we don't all do it all the time. No. But what happened was, after the first break, I gave them a challenge. I said, send this text message to 3 people that you're trying to have a conversation with. And some of them did. And one of the agents sitting right in the front came in and said, oh my gosh, I did it. And in 15 minutes, I got 2 responses of the 3 that I sent, and I already scheduled an appointment. And when I think about that, I hear, and you hear it too, we hear so many agents now, the real estate market is different. It's changed, and it always does. And they're struggling because they haven't experienced this before. And this is new to them.
Right.
And so they're struggling, and they're trying to say, well, how do I get in front of more people? How do I get in front of more buyers and sellers? I need to find motivated. Well, even when you do, it's about the conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just bottle that up and put it away. I want to share it, because these are the successes that are happening in the people in our world, in the world of the guides for Phil and Jones, and exactly what to say. The more people we can get in front of and help, the more they're successful. And that's pretty dang cool when that happens.
That's pretty dang cool. And I would venture a guess, because everything that, in my mind, it all goes to how do we have better conversations, not only with our clients and our colleagues, but with our families and our parents and our siblings, and the skill set is just exactly that. It's having better conversations, and it's not, like you said, it's not scripting, like you're manipulating
Correct.
someone. It's just not. But it's saying, correct me if I'm wrong, because again, you're the expert here, that it's saying things in a way that just resonates differently. And so people hear it differently.
Exactly. And perfect example that comes to mind. My father just turned 90. And he can be kind of that crabby old guy. Okay? He kind of is.
And when I'm 90, I am allowed to be crabby too.
Absolutely he is. Absolutely. So for his birthday, it was, well, Dad, what do you want to do? Whatever you guys want to do. Well, no, it's your birthday. What do you want to do? I don't care. Whatever you want to do. Right? So my sister and my brother are having this conversation. We're all at my mom and dad's house. And he kind of shut down and he walked outside. I walked out there and I said, hey, I said, how do you feel about being 90? It's pretty cool that you're still golfing twice a week, isn't it? So I asked him a question. And he said, well, yeah, I sure hope I can keep doing that for a while. And I said, well, you know what, Dad? You're still getting on the treadmill. You're still doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. I don't see why not. And I said, oh, by the way, if you had to decide right now what you wanted to do for your birthday, what would that be? What happens is a person's unconscious mind hears that and they start immediately searching for an answer. You're not aware of the fact that you are, but you were just asked a question and you're looking for an answer. Like this, he looked at me and he said, I just want to stay here and throw steaks on the grill.
But when you're saying, what do you want to do for your birthday? What do you want to do for your birthday? You're forced to come up with an idea. You know, I just think
exactly.
It's
That's
like
exactly it. Yes.
It's like I have to decide what everybody's going to want to do, and it becomes too many decisions.
And that's exactly what it is, because you're asking the person to think about choices and make a decision.
Yeah.
I just said, if you had to do it right now, what would you choose? And he immediately knew what his first choice was. And
Sure.
That's what I was asking. If you had to decide right now, what would you choose? What do you want? Because he never tells us what he wants.
No.
And I walked back in and I said, okay, we're doing steaks on the grill. And everybody was like, what? What?
This is what I do, people.
Well, and that's exactly what it is. And I've done this. My oldest grandson is 14. I watch his parents have these conversations and, they get like this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you can't do that. You shouldn't do it with anybody. But especially with kids and seniors, don't do that. So I kind of sat there and we were asking, it was at Christmas time. And my husband asked our 14-year-old grandson, well, what if Nana's making dessert, what do you want her to make? Well, I don't know. Well, what's your favorite dessert? I don't have one. He's 14. He's not going to give us a response. Think about
Not
it.
answering you. You're lucky you got more than one word.
Exactly. And so I kind of let it slide. And then I looked at him and I said, hey, memory serves me, I made this and you really liked it. And he said, yeah, it was good. I said, cool. We're having that for Christmas. Oh, good idea. Done.
So, and it's interesting because people will complain or whatever, like, oh, I can't get an answer out of this kid, or Dad always just can't ever say what he wants, or whatever those situations are, and just asking the same question in a different way.
Yeah.
And imagine the amount of conflicts learning how to do this can eliminate.
And that's a big piece of why I love this so much. This is exactly what to say is Phil's passion.
Yeah.
It's his purpose. And if you think I get animated, you should, well, you have seen him.
I have seen him. He is like something.
On fire. But when you think about it, for him, the reason that the exactly what to say real estate guides exist is to be the front face of this brand for him and spread the word and change conversations and change lives. I can't tell you how many personal conversations I have had that have been completely different. One of the things is, my husband has acute neurological Lyme disease and he has permanent disabilities, including cognitive issues. There are times when he is tired or he is experiencing more pain than usual that he doesn't have a filter and he can get pretty mean. He doesn't mean to.
Yeah.
Before this, I would just get quiet, kind of let him go. and kind of figure out, okay, how do I make him feel better? I don't know what
Yeah.
to do. Now, when it happens, and it doesn't happen as often because I've already changed our conversations, when it does, and he's firing off, and he doesn't mean it, but it's hard not to take it personally because he can get,
Sure.
pretty mean.
Sure.
Now I have pause. Pauses are important. And say, okay, I can understand. What would have to happen for you to feel better about this? And he stops and he thinks, because that question will make you stop and think.
Mm-hmm.
He does come up with an answer. I can see him calming down. He comes up with an answer. And then I ask, how can I support you on that? That's all I have to do. I understand. What would have to happen for you to feel better about this? And how can I support you? So think about, especially when you're talking to kids, because when they react, or someone who's a senior, especially those that are struggling with whatever it is they're struggling with, and they react, they're not thinking logically.
No.
And they
They're thinking-
can't.
they're
And it's
thinking
not
in the
their
moment.
fault. They just
Yeah.
can't. But if you say, hey, I understand, what would have to happen for you to feel better about this? And let them tell you.
Yeah.
And
I
how
see
can
this
I
working with people, like you said, with cognitive and brain changes, right? There's a lot of different forms of cognitive situations. Your husband, came from Lyme disease.
Right.
Other people have Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia, or
Right.
traumatic brain injuries and things like that cause their brain not to function in the way maybe it used to, right? And I've seen people, especially dealing with dementia, and not understanding why people, like, why is mom reacting this way? And why is she gets so upset and she gets combative and all of that? And maybe just asking that question,
Yeah.
it just calms the situation.
And that's
And like you
exactly-
said,
yeah.
it causes the brain to go look for the answer instead of just firing off
Right.
random thoughts and out of frustration and whatever
Right.
that word is, right?
Right. And when you think about all of the conversations we've had in our lifetime with kids and spouses and other family members, sometimes colleagues, think of a buyer or seller who's upset about something. They're upset. They're reacting. They're not thinking logically. They can't. Your brain doesn't work that way.
It's flooded with emotion.
But right. And so when you say things like, and one of the things that I think is really brilliant, well, the biggest thing that's really brilliant is that all of this has been proven by neuroscience, and Phil has had neuroscientists look at all this. But if you say, don't worry, people's blood pressure literally comes down. So if you think about someone that's upset about something, don't worry. Most people would feel the same way. Their blood pressure starts to come down. They're not feeling isolated because you just said they're like most people.
Yeah.
And then ask them, I understand. What would need to happen? And you don't say who, or you don't say, what would need to happen for you to feel better about this? That's it. Just a simple question like that completely changes everything. And I think of all the conversations that I've now had with that and how it changes things. And I wish I would have known this sooner. Obviously, we all do. It's like, man, if I'd have known this when I was like 20.
Yeah, but Phil was not born then, probably.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He hadn't had a chance to come around and spread his smarts around.
I mean, I think about now
Yes.
how important
Yes.
it is to be
Yes.
able to have these conversations.
Yes.
We live in a world where we're bombarded with more information now than ever, and that number keeps growing. We can only retain a small amount. I heard a statistic just recently from someone who's a neuroscientist on her podcast, And she said it's like closing in on 1 billion bits of information.
No
Okay.
wonder we're all losing our minds.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. But you can only retain, the average person retains, most people, she said, was between 50,000 and 120,000.
and that still sounds like
A huge
ridiculous.
amount. Right. And so the way we communicate has changed. The way people see things have changed because they're on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok. They're seeing all this stuff. Most of it's not true.
Right?
Most of it's not true, but many people think it is. And they get caught up in this. And so the more they do that, the more anger, the more negativity they're soaking in. And it's harder and harder in conversations to turn that around.
It's hard to have that conversation, right? Because, like you said, most of it isn't true. And the more that a person engages with some of this, untrue, the thing where they're just trying to elicit response, then they get more of it. And so that just continues to pile on to the point where people, it's too much information and their brains are overflowing.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's why asking questions, slowing down, pausing, it gives the person you're speaking to, number one, you're hearing them at a high level.
Yeah.
The pauses, the slowing down is showing them, hey, I'm really listening to you. I'm not listening to respond. I'm really listening to you. And then pausing a little bit, asking a question, it also gives them time to think.
Yes.
And in that space, everybody kind of calms down a little bit.
Well, and I think because when you ask them, what would you need to have happen to feel better about that? Then all the things that are firing, all of a sudden the fireworks stop.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, what would make me feel better about the fact that the roof has a hole in it if it's a home buyer, or that I wanted to go to this party and mom and dad won't let me, to the 16-year-old, or any of these, that it just kind of stops and the fireworks go off. And now it becomes clear what would make me happy, or at least make me feel better about mom and dad's decision.
Right. So think about if more and more people are learning how to have better conversations. The more we spread this, the more the ripple effect of them having better conversations, and then the people they're talking to feeling better and having better conversations. That is the number one purpose, the number one drive of doing this. And all of the side things with the having better business conversations on all those other things. Okay, that's great too.
Yeah.
Because all of it's good. And I like to say, because people will come to me and ask, well, isn't that manipulation? No, it's not. I like to call it influence with integrity. And what we're really doing is giving them, we're understanding what's important to them. What do they know about the process, or what do they know about what's going on in the market, if it's a buyer or a seller or whatever, and then giving them the information they need to make the best decision for them.
We Are One Heart is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to bridging the gap between the needs and resources of low-income seniors and veterans. Rooted in compassion and love, our mission is to provide housing, living assistance, and access to critical resources that ensure dignity and support for the elderly in underserved communities. At the heart of We Are One Heart's work is the belief that every individual shares a common humanity, a heart connected through love and care. We are committed to creating a future that honors those who have shaped the past by offering programs and services that enhance their quality of life. For more information or to donate, visit wa1h.org. That's wa1h.org.
Funny thing happened. Phil was at a training in Boston, and I just was thinking about this as an explanation. One of the newer guides was there, and their regional director, it was a regional training, Phil was there. They were trying to stump Phil. You can't. Okay. I'm sorry.
So
but
you know.
And so the regional director said, well, who else wants to come up here and try and stump Phil? Well, this particular guide happened to be there and she knew him. And when she called his name, I'm going, oh, I wonder if she knows he's a guide. I bet she doesn't, because she wouldn't have called on him. So she did. And he said, I can't. That's not the purpose of having this kind of conversation, because there's no wrong answer. And I was like, wow, that was really smart. But he's right. There's no wrong answer.
No.
You're just trying to understand the person you're talking to. You want to understand what's their perspective. What do they know? What's really important to them? We said, Phil will say, you're trying to find out their because. And I think that's a brilliant thing for everybody in every conversation to remember.
Trying to figure out their because.
They're moving because. The teenager wants to go to the party because. Dad does not want to give an answer for what he wants to do because. But if you understand that, and if they're missing something, especially in business conversations, buyers and sellers don't understand the market. They don't have the information we have. They can't get it. That's our expertise as educators and advocates and negotiators. Once we understand what's important to them, then it's easy to say, well, okay, I understand your experience has been this.
Excuse me.
And here's what could happen. Were you aware of this? What do you understand about what's happening with rates in the market right now? Only what they hear on the news. It's our job to give them the right information to make the best decision, but it's their decision. And it's not trying to make them do something that we want them to do. And that's where I think a lot of salespeople in every industry fall short. They still think it's, I'm going to convince them to buy with me. No,
you're
not.
Going
to find out what's important to them. What are their challenges? How can you help them through those challenges? And that's what this is about. And when you think about putting that into personal conversations, put that into a leadership conversation.
I mean, imagine if we started having better conversations like this. I mean, the world is in disagreement at every turn right now, and people are willing to, separate from families and lifelong friends over a difference of, and I'm just going to call it a difference of opinion, right? And it could be a big difference, it could be a big opinion, or it could be even not a big opinion. But imagine, if you could just have a little bit better understanding and ask, I love that question. Well, what needs to happen to make you feel better about it?
Yeah.
And how can I support that?
Yeah. How can I support that? Don't ask and you nailed it before. Don't ask, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Because now you're asking that person to think about, well, how can
Too
they?
many
I
things.
don't know.
Yes.
Too many
you
things.
Can't help me. You can't change this.
Right.
When really all they want is steaks on the grill.
Yeah. Exactly.
It may not be a big elaborate answer. It's steaks on the grill and some baked potatoes, and let's all sit on the deck.
Exactly.
Because that's really what I want. I don't need to go to some big fancy pants place. Let's just do this.
And that's why I think it's so important. And it's not easy sometimes to go to businesses and have them understand what this is. They're looking for results, and they think that if you teach people scripts and you can hammer somebody, that they're going to sign the contract and they're going to hire you to sell their house. Right. No, they're not. No. They think that they can go in and say, here's the 550,000 things I can do for you. Look at all the value I bring. And out of that 550,000, 549,997, they couldn't care less about.
Yes.
Okay. But if you ask,
and you're talking about all those and the three things that they do, you haven't asked them what it is.
No. And how do you know? And if you don't ask them, okay, that's important to you. I'll tell you what, I'm really glad you told me that. When you get to the end of a conversation, if you have asked enough questions and you really understand, because what's happening is you're gaining information, you're gaining context, you're understanding what is there because. Why are they moving? They are moving because they are selling mom and dad's house because. Now you start asking them about their experiences and then asking them, well, how would you feel? Because we need to get the emotional piece in there as well. Because we don't know. They might say, well, how would you feel if it doesn't get sold by X date that you're telling me is important to you? Well, I'd feel really bad because I don't want to miss my grandson's last year of high school and he's a basketball star and I just want to be living close by so I can go there. Okay, that's a lot different than somebody saying, well, I just like to live in warm weather. If I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't.
Right.
And when when you understand that, now you can say, because of the fact that you said this, this, and this, I think our best way forward is to start here and do this and this. Because we're formulating our advice and how we educate them on what's important to them.
Yeah.
Because it changes what we do as well. If it's something,
because don't we get upset when people don't acknowledge what's important to us?
Yes.
And they miss the point, and it feels like they don't care what's important to us.
Exactly.
Right? And so now maybe I'm not going to tell you that I don't want to sell my house because, I don't know, all my pets are buried in the backyard, but you haven't asked me why I don't want to leave this house. I know it's too big for me. I know I should live in a house that's smaller. I know that whatever, but I'm afraid I'm never going to make another friend at this place if I go somewhere else. I feel like all my friends are here, whatever it is. But these are things that are important to us, no matter how ridiculous that might sound to somebody else.
Right.
It's still important to us.
It is. And when you know what's important to someone and you've become relatable, you've pushed the show me that you know me button.
Yeah.
Now they're going to trust you to help them do what's best for them. When that trust happens, if they're going to do business, you've got it.
Yeah.
But that's because you care. You showed that you care. You show that what's important to them is what is important to you, and you want to help them do that. Just that.
Just that.
Yeah.
I mean, and that all sounds so simple. It really just sounds so simple.
But it's not. It's hard because
everything is like simple but not easy, right?
Yeah.
It's ask the question, but it's so hard to get your emotions out of the way enough to answer the question or ask the question to begin with.
The other part of it is, especially since we've been in the business longer, we have become advice monsters. We just want to tell people right away.
Yeah, that's in my experience, from what I've seen. A seller's never gonna do this, and
yeah. But think about this challenge, and I would challenge everyone listening: try to go one day and give zero advice.
I'd have to stay home alone. And even then, I'd probably give advice to whatever's on the TV or one of the dogs.
Exactly. But think about how hard it is. It sounds easy, but it doesn't come naturally because we haven't been taught to listen.
Yeah.
We haven't been taught to ask curious questions, to understand.
Do you think we used to, and it all just passed because of just the way things have gone, right? So that we just don't take time to listen anymore because we're going on to the next thing.
100%. I mean, I can tell you in my house when I was a kid, we never talked out of turn.
No. You
Never.
didn't interrupt your parents. It was a speak when spoken to kind of, you didn't holler out in class. Mm-hmm. You raised your hand.
Yeah. Waited to get called on. We were respectful. And we were taught to be that way.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen now. Drives me crazy.
sound like, we're the old 60-year-olds, talking like that now, but it's true though. It is true. And we, and it is something that has to be taught. And I think if we as adults now can learn to have good conversations with our kids, our grandkids, and then also our aging parents and other loved ones, then some of this connection between the younger us, the older, it just starts to get better.
Exactly, it does. It starts to get better, and by having a lot of conversations like this with my grandkids, I'm noticing them the older ones having better conversations.
That's good.
And so it's rubbing off. Both of my sons, I have one that's military. He's black and white. Okay. Yeah, but he's really calmed and asking questions. And the younger one was always the telling the kids what to do thing. I'm like, you're going to lose that every time. You're going to lose it every time. And he's like, well, and we were on vacation together, and I said, watch, okay. So my grandson didn't want to get in the shower. Whatever. They were making a big deal out of it. I said, hey, Reese, you were in the pool for a really long time. There's chemicals in the pool? Yeah, I know, there's chlorine and stuff like that. And I said, have you ever not taken a shower after being in the pool? Yeah. Well, what happened? Yeah, my skin got really itchy and it woke me up in the middle of the night. I went, oh, so do you want that to happen again? No, I'm getting in the shower. I never yelled. I never told him he had to. He figured it out on his own by me asking him questions about it. He knew, and he was only saying no because his father was making him do it.
Go to the shower. Go get in the shower. It's interesting. I had a conversation with a friend earlier today. He's got a 12-year-old son, and this son will always leave just his trash everywhere. He won't pick up after himself, spills stuff on the floor and leaves it, right? Well, he had spilled chocolate ice cream. He had been playing a game on the computer, and the next morning there was chocolate ice cream everywhere. On the computer, on the carpet, on the table, and he hadn't cleaned it up. So Dad was angry, and he just kept saying, I am so mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm just so mad right now. I'm so mad right now. I'm so mad right now. But, here are the consequences. You are going to clean all of that up. You're going to, you're grounded from the device or the game or whatever his consequences were for that. But after that, this is the first time he had said, I'm really mad about this. Previously, it was like, dude, why don't you clean up after yourself? Hey, come on, let's pick up after ourselves. He has seen a change in his son by expressing the emotion. Now, he didn't probably ask right questions, but he let his 12-year-old son know that this really upset him and disappointed him.
Without pointing it at him.
Yes, without saying, you made this mess. I'm so angry right now. And now he started picking up after himself. The kid, since that moment, has started to change his behaviors. Whereas every time he said, oh, come on, don't do that. Let's pick up after yourself, man. Why do I have to pick? You're old enough.
Nobody wants to be told what to do.
No.
And he was telling him what to do.
And then
I love that.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, and I didn't catch the nobody wants to be told what to do part, but he saw that how disappointed that his behaviors made you, that it truly made you angry. And he doesn't want to upset you.
Right. But
he also doesn't want to be told what to do.
And that's the struggle, especially at that age.
Yeah.
That's the struggle. But he didn't direct it. He said he was angry, but he didn't say, I am mad at you. No.
He just said, I'm so mad right now. I am just so mad that this is such a mess.
Yeah.
And you can have that same, I see a lot of adult children who are trying to tell their parents it's time to move. It's time to move. The house is too big. You're here alone. Why are you living here? You need to move to assisted living. I don't know why you want to keep living here. There's too much, all those things. And mom and dad are like, no, we're fine. No, it's going to be 2 years. I have to figure out where I'm going. And those things, because they don't want to be told it's time to move.
Right. Right.
But when the question can change to, what is it about living here that makes you want to stay so badly?
Well, and that's the perfect question. That is so good. Because if we can't understand,
because this is where your dad and I built this house together. Your dad built that kitchen for me.
Yeah. You played with your friends in the backyard.
Yeah.
We still are friends with the neighbors. I mean, so when you think about, especially that length of time, and that's where our parents are right now.
Yeah.
My mother is 88, and she's still in her homemakers club that started in 1967.
Wow.
Because that's how close the neighbors got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Built their homes together, had little kids when they moved in. All the kids grew up together. That was their life for 30 plus years.
Yeah. It's a long
And that
time.
was all their relationships. That's hard. And if you don't ask the questions and understand what is it, the other piece of that is you get them, they know, they're thinking about it. They know that the house is getting to be too much for them. You're not telling them something they don't already know. It took my in-laws 7 years. Okay, 7 years. And they would go look at condos, and then my father-in-law would put his foot down. And my husband has one brother, and they were doing the same thing. And I finally sat the boys down. And this was obviously way before exactly what to say. But I did sit them down, and I said, your dad worked his tail off. He's the quintessential story. Parents, grandfather was in World War I, came from Poland in World War I. The whole immigrant family, he worked his tail off as a machinist for the city of Milwaukee to build this house for you and your mom and your brother. He doesn't want to leave, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
You got to give him some time, and you have to be kind and ask him some questions and help him. And if they want to stay longer, then guess what? We're hiring somebody to do the lawn.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Stop trying to make him do what he doesn't want to do.
Because nobody wants to do what they don't
Do you
want to
know
do.
what? When they stopped doing that, it took about 6 months for them to buy a condo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He knew. They were just trying to tell him
Yeah.
that you got to leave. I worked my fingers to the bone to build this house for my family. And I raised my family here. And I'm still friends with all the neighbors. Most of them were still around. And you can't make me move.
Yeah. Well, it's quit trying to parent me.
Right. Right. So when we think about all these conversations, and now you've heard, and you see me getting excited. Think about when I am doing trainings and I'm doing workshops, and I get people literally within 24 hours. Every single workshop, it's been within 24 hours. At least one person will tell me of a success story. There was a team leader at a market center, one of ours in Milwaukee, and I did a regional training for leadership. Within 2 hours, she sent me a text. One of the agents that we were afraid was going to leave and who's really struggling with her business. And I keep asking her, how can I help? How can I help? I heard what you said. She happened to be in the office when I got back. And we were chatting, and she said she was still struggling, and maybe she shouldn't have left the other brokerage and all this stuff. This team leader said, well, when would be a good time for us to get together for a strategy meeting? And when would be a good time is a different way of asking.
Mm-hmm.
And the agent said, well, I don't know. And she said, well, I would really like to know how I can support you to make this better for you. They met the next day. This was months ago. She's still there, and she's doing fine.
I think there's a difference between two. How can I support you, and how can I help you? I don't need any help. I know what to do. I'm fine. I don't need help. I've been doing this a
Yeah.
long time. I know what I'm doing. Instead of how can I support you? Because that's different than one asking for help. So many people don't want to ask for help.
Right.
Secondly, they know what they want to do, or they know what they should do or want to do, or what they're, they know. They just may not be able to get all four tires back, on the road.
Right.
So how can I
Right.
support you in getting back between the ditches? Right? And
Yeah.
maybe it's just listening to me, complain about something for a while.
Well, and sometimes it is. I mean, and when you think about it and you think about all of the conversations we've had in our lifetime so far, many, many,
Oh,
many,
many, many, many.
thousands of conversations, and a lot of them didn't go well.
Yeah.
We've all had conversations, be it business or personal, where 10 minutes later we went, who was that idiot? Why did I say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I should have said this.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're asking questions, even if you don't know right away, when that moment happens and you're asking questions, you can ask a question to give yourself a moment to step back and pause, because our brains don't think that fast. But when we have these questions and we understand how to ask them and they're in our memory bank, okay, now you've got them in your memory bank. Sometimes you might have to pause a second or two before you find the right one. But by living this and understanding it and practicing and role playing this, it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
I have people that I don't know how you can do all of that. And I'm like, because I've been in the room for intensive training with Phil 6 times in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I role play with the people that I teach.
You
Because
got
this
to put the
is
reps in.
important to me, and I put the reps in, and then I look at the experiences that we've had. Why on earth would I just want to hold it to myself and not help others?
Yeah.
That's
And what's cool about the way you said that is that you truly believe that. Why on earth would I not share this information to make somebody else's life potentially better?
right.
And you
exactly.
absolutely believe that.
100%.
I can see it.
100%. I love it.
can see
I
it.
said when
Yeah.
I put in my post that I'm turning 20 or 69, 29, I wish. 69. and I seriously, I look at it and I think about the people asking me about retirement, and I'm like, I can't imagine. I seriously cannot imagine what that would look like. If you told me that I'm going to give you a magic wand and you can design whatever retirement looks like. You could be on the Amalfi Coast living the life. No,
No?
I don't know what, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe Amalfi Coast,
Maybe.
in a villa might be a little
You
bit
might think about it.
tempting. I might think about it if I have a shop and a sommelier. Yeah, maybe I would think about
Maybe.
it. But I'd still want to go out and talk to people and help people
Yes.
and have
Yes.
conversations with people. Right?
Yes.
I still want to do this. So
and I
it doesn't
think
matter where.
that right there is that is what keeps you a person vibrant as they age. Because what happens historically is people retire and they stay in their house and they no longer have their social relationships that they had at work. And if you worked all the time, then you didn't have social relationships in your community. So now you don't have your work friends. You don't have social friends. So you stay in your house and you isolate. And then you get lonely. And then your brain deteriorates. That is loneliness and isolation are a leading cause of dementia and other brain changes.
Right.
So because you just stop.
And when we've heard for decades, when you stop growing, you die. You're dying.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're not growing, you're dying, right? And people say, well, I do crossword puzzles. I do this to help my brain. God rest her soul, my Sicilian grandmother was amazing. And my mom is doing the same thing. we had a hard time after my grandfather passed. She didn't want to leave right away. It was their house, and we totally get it. When she finally agreed, and she moved into senior apartments. Now, they didn't have the fancy stuff that they have now because this was a number of years ago. But she was in a building that was an octagon that had a central atrium that was quite the social hub. And she was always very social. Her health improved. Her memory improved. She thrived until she was 93.
Wow.
They had an Italian restaurant. She loves to cook. She loved to cook. She would make bread, and you could smell it, and everybody'd be going, I can smell it. Mary's making bread. We're going to get fresh bread today. And she would just take it all out into the atrium to give to everybody. That's what made her happy.
Yeah. That's her serving others.
That was
her doing what you do.
Yeah.
That was her version of what you're doing.
She thrived. She made friends right away. She cooked for them. She made bread. She'd go out and play cards with everybody. And I think about, okay, when I can't do what I'm doing right now, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be in a senior place. If I can't, when I can't physically, that's what I tell people. I'll stop this when I can't physically do it anymore. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop living. Right. I want to be the grandma. I tell people, they're like, my health goal is to dance at every one of my grandkids' weddings. And I got a long time to go. The two youngest ones are only 7.
So
I got a little bit.
Hopefully we've got at least 11 years minimum before they start doing any of that.
But think about living that kind of life.
Yeah.
And even if I'm not able to travel or teach or coach or consult, whatever it is that I'm doing now, that's okay, as long as I'm still in a place where I can be social. Yeah. And live in joy and bring joy to others. And I look at some of the places now and I'm like, I want to be that one. I want to have my walker and I want to still be dancing.
Exactly.
I want to have a good time while I'm here, but I want everybody around me to feel really good about themselves too.
Well, you are doing that. I will say
so.
You are doing that. I love being around you. I do.
I
just
so appreciate
you just make me
being
happy.
on with you. Yeah.
You make me happy.
Yeah, we need to be, in my opinion, much more aware of how people are seen and heard when we're talking to them.
Yeah.
And just have better conversations.
I agree. I think that's the mic drop moment.
That's
right
it.
there. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. Maybe not your whole afternoon, but it was an hour of your day, and I know you've got a lot going on, and so I appreciate you taking some time. We are going to have all of your information clearly in the show notes. I think the path you chose with Willem Jones and learning this, just this process is huge. He has broken in on the scene. Like you said, he's heavily in the real estate world, but it ain't just real estate. It's all levels and all types of business and personal relationships that can be learned from this theory, this philosophy, this method, whatever it is.
Yeah, I agree. And I thank you for having me. I love having this conversation with you. It means a lot to me, so I appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, thanks again for being on my show.
Absolutely. Anytime.
And thank you for tuning in once again to another episode of Relax, I Got This, Embracing Life After 60. Please continue to subscribe and share the episodes because it's such great information that we need to get across to everyone. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Relax, I Got This. Bye. Thank you for joining me on Relax, I Got This, Embracing Life After 60. I know that time is our greatest asset, and I appreciate the time that you spend with me. If you're finding the information on this podcast useful, please subscribe to the channel on your favorite platform so that you never miss another episode. Don't forget to go to our website where you will find additional resources, downloads, and coaching programs. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Relax, I Got This, Embracing Life After 60.